Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson, broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny. Sometimes Colorado. Today is November 5th, my favorite day of the year. Remember the 5th of November. It's my birthday. I was born 1987, a little town in Hawaii, little hospital, and I grew up in Makwa. And spent the first few years of my life in Hawaii, native Hawaiian at heart, and then moved Colorado. And since that time, I've been to more than 40 states, 72 countries. I've seen it all, done it all twice just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And it's just so incredible to have experienced the things that I have and been to the places I've been. And I wanted to make a video to thank all of you guys for the birthday wishes I've received. It's pretty surreal to get a message from celebrities and musicians. William Shatner tweet at you. It wasn't like this just a few years ago. And I don't think I'm ever going to quite get used to it, especially given that a lot of these people were people I grew up with, either my heroes or people that entertained me or people that I always imagined were special people. And to be having an opportunity to interact with them, see them. I was just at the Web Summit over in Portugal, and it's one of those places I keep getting invited to. And I finally bit the bullet and I said, you know what? Let's go. So I went in Lisbon, and 77,000 people were there, 5 exhibition halls. It was gargantuan. A lot of crypto stuff, a lot of traditional web stuff, all the usual suspects, Google, Intel, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. And I had a chance to meet a lot of really interesting people. The Queen of Jordan was there. Olana Zelenska was there, shaking the can for her foundation. It was pretty impressive to interact with all of them, get to know them, and just have some great conversations along the way. And I said, next year we got to make sure we have presence here because there's a lot of good connections, relationships, and partnerships to have. With all birthdays, it's a time for reflection, and it's a time to see where you've been and where you're going. And this has been a tough year. It's been a really, really tough year. I've been going nonstop here for a while. In fact, the last 3 months in particular have been probably the hardest I've ever done, I've ever endured. Basically every day, 16, 18-hour days, traveling all around, doing things, because we have a huge amount of work we're trying to get done. For Cardano, for my many companies. I own 6 companies now, and every one of them does different things. I'm known for cryptocurrencies. I'm known for Cardano and Ethereum and these types of things, and it's the biggest part of my day. But I also do work in synthetic biology, and we're looking at how do you make plants glow in the dark. I do work in regenerative medicine, anti-aging. Got a clinic that's opening up here in a bit. Probably the next 2 months. And that clinic is going to start 10,000 square feet. And then when we do the full extension for it, it'll be 50,000 square feet. For those of you on metric, that's 4,500 square meters. Not small. SPECT scan, MRI, CAT scan, the new 256 slice, super duper CAT scan, DEXA scan, compounding pharmacy, hyperbaric center, CLIA-approved lab, full genomic sequencers. We even have a clinical pathologist on staff. We went pretty crazy with it and been building that the entire time. So it's exciting to finally see that come to fruition and see all the hard work that's been put in and all the employees there at Hoskinson Health and Wellness and the biotech company get it together. So it's been, a long road, and it's been a tough year. And one of the things I've realized is I haven't taken care of my health as much as I need to. When I started as an entrepreneur in this space, I had a lot more energy, a lot more fired up. And you may have noticed I've gained a little bit of weight. And you may have noticed that my hair is falling out a little bit. And there's a lot more gray in the beard than there used to. And I look a lot older than 35. In many ways, this level of stress and this level of travel and these types of responsibilities, they do tend to age you. And it's kind of silly to be a guy thinking about anti-aging when you look like you're 55 and you're 35, or at the very least 45. Split the difference. So next year I'm definitely going to spend a lot more time trying to work out and trying to get my health back to where it needs to be, especially mental health. This has been an incredibly tough year. Every single month there's been a lot going on. There's been some horrifically unfair things that have really made me bitter and very angry. And it's taken some time to let those things go, like certain books that were written that were very unfair, um, certain criticisms that were levied that were also very unfair, just the state of the markets, a lot of political things as well. I'm not immune to politics, and a lot of things I've witnessed that have happened, I think, are fundamentally morally wrong. Uh, there's The Intercept recently pointed out that there's been a collusion between the Department of Homeland Security and the social media giants like Facebook and Twitter and others to basically create a disinformation censorship board. Uh, I like to believe, living in America, that we have freedom of speech, or at least the semblance of it, and to see how that has been so thoroughly taken from us really deeply disappoints me. There's some rays of hope here and there, and there's some great innovation here and there. Like recently with Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter, it started the conversation. When I was at Web Summit, CZ was there, a lot of Binance people were there, and I had a chance to talk to a lot of different people. And there's a big buzz right now about decentralized social networks, but there's going to be a big challenge moving into the next few years of how do we restore our freedom of association, our freedom of commerce, and our freedom of expression, because there's a war against them. There's been a lot of propaganda that's been pushed on us for geopolitical events and for healthcare events. And it's made me bitter and angry because good people have been turned into surrogates to do evil things that have hurt all of us. And I'm not going to get into the details because, unfortunately, when people are the victim of propaganda, if you mention these trigger words, you say the things that you think they've been propagandized over, they become unable and unwilling to interact. They shut off. In your own day-to-day life, as we look to the future, you can probably write a list of people down that you've interacted with recently or in the past, that when you mention one thing, whatever that thing might be, could be, I don't know, racial stuff, abortion, COVID, education, they immediately go to a talking point that they didn't come up with themselves. And if you contradict what they want you to say, they get instantly angry at you and make you the other, the enemy, and start hating you. We can't have conversations anymore in society. That made me sad. It made me really sad. It's been a tough year for that, and it's getting a lot worse. And I think it's only going to get worse. The age of deepfakes is soon upon us. The age of AI is moving at an astounding rate. I'd read all these futurist papers and these books, and they'd tell me, hey, AI is the way to go. It's all going to happen. Yeah, whatever. Well, now they're actually right. They're here. And within a very short period of time, the vast majority of the things that we think and believe are going to be curated by non-humans, not humans. And those non-humans are programmed by people with agendas, and they will use it to manufacture consent for whatever agenda that they have. So that depressed me. It made me pretty sad, and it made me a little hopeless here and there to see all the divisions that people have. We have an election here in America, and just a few days, and Tuesday, my dad is running. He's running for the hospital board up in Gillette, Wyoming. He's been campaigning harder than I think most congressmen do. My family doesn't like to lose. They like to win. And we wish him well and all the people running with him. But it's an important election because it's one that will either reset or double down on the narratives and beliefs that have been persisting. And we can either heal from it or be more divided from it. I was on stage at the Web Summit, and they had some harsh critics of crypto. And I spent 18 minutes sitting there and during these two people babbling about how money's been lost and babbling about how everything's a security and everything we've done is a scam. They don't even understand that at the end of the rainbow, very foundational things are currently under debate. Your very freedoms, your voice, your vote, your identity, how money works, who controls money, how debt works, how you interface with marketplaces, what rights you have, what rights you don't have, and ultimately sound money at the core. Do you have something that every year decays 8%, 10%, 12%, and the fruits of your labors evaporate away? Or do you have something that gets more valuable over time, or at least stays the same? I don't understand any of that, and they just focus on the short term. Also not understanding that it's either protocols or companies. And it's really depressing the hell out of me that companies control the vast majority of the things we have in life, from how these packets of information leave my computer and get to you, to the operating system I use, to basically how we find information, how information's curated. And those companies, the small few of them, have shown to us, last 3 years in particular, they're more than willing to collaborate, coordinate, and collude to form an oligarchy that prevents them effectively from having competition. And they really do enjoy having total control over the truth. That's a really sad thing. Crypto is the last mile. It's the last barrier. If we don't succeed as an industry, those people get to run everything forever. So I often get asked what motivates me. Where do I get that fire from? Many of you know I'm pretty wealthy these days, and I don't have to work if I don't want to. And how many horrific books can be written? How many horrible trolls can attack me? How many people can say and do terrible things every single day and attack everything from my knowledge to credentials to integrity to my weight? How many days can you take that? The vitriol, hate, and bile that seems to be getting worse and worse. And not at some point just throw in the towel and say, fuck it, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore. I'm going to go retire and play with my bison. Well, the answer is, as long as there's something to win, as long as there's stakes at the matter, as long as there's something existential, I'm here. And this is a long haul effort. When you look to the future, 2023, 2024, 2025, this is the real war. We, the crypto industry, have shown up, and the next 5 or 10 years are going to be the most formative and important years in the history of humanity. And they're going to decide how every government works, every democracy works, every dictatorship works, and whether the human race is going to be able to survive the 21st century or descend into a you own nothing and will be happy, eat your grasshoppers and shut up, chaotic, terrible world. I firmly believe that. So I'm not going anywhere because I at least have a voice. I at least have a seat at the table. I at least have the ability to fight. And I see the amazing progress that we've made with Cardano and the Cardano ecosystem. I've seen how many things we've been able to achieve in a very short period of time. We get so much criticism from the things we don't have. People make videos and say, oh, Cardano's broken, we need this. And they say, well, we need this particular feature. And then they lie sometimes, like say we have no notion of time in Cardano. Okay. And that's frustrating. But the reality is that people are building things. I'm building things, you're building things, and every day we get a little bit better, a little stronger, and the movement gets larger. That means we're still in the game. We're still fighting. We're still here, and we're not going anywhere. And that's really the point. You see, we're not going to stop writing papers, and the technology continues to evolve and advance. Sidechains are coming soon. Oh boy, there's going to be some fun stuff to talk about at Scott Fest and at the Lausanne Summit for the Cardano Summit. There's all kinds of cool new things coming. Lots of SIPs coming. The age of Voltaire is almost upon us. The final stage in the original wave. And then there's the fourth generation of Chase. You see, there's so much more good than there is bad. And that which we cannot do is just a challenge for us to overcome in the future, not a barrier that will prevent us from achieving the future. And I think that's the wisdom that I'd like to convey for my birthday. I've been here for 35 years, and now I've gotten old enough to know a few things along the way, endured a few things along the way. And I'd like to say that optimism, not cynicism, is the secret to a good life. Really is. Any event, anything you do, any place you go, if you choose to, you can make it hell. You can find something wrong. You can be at the most beautiful hotel. You can be at the most incredible art gallery. And then you can complain about something. Maybe it's a flickering fluorescent light. Maybe you find an insect where you shouldn't. Maybe there's a crack in the wall where it shouldn't be a crack. Who knows? You can always find the negative, dark side of things. And you can always find the problems and protocols. Or you can optimistically look at things and say, wow, how incredibly beautiful is this? I was in Lisbon and I went and visited the old castle that the kings of Portugal lived in. It's a very old castle, built 14th, 13th century, shortly after the Moors were conquered. And walking around it, it is dilapidated. My God, the rooms are not looking so good. But it was incredible to see the views. I posted a picture, and I really love those magpies that were up on the ceilings. It was great, and there was so much wonderful history there, so much intrigue there. So I focused on that, not on the fact that the structure has seen better days, and it's not quite as impressive as Versailles or other castles and palaces and places I've seen. And I think that is the key to life. If you follow that thread, to focus on the good things, to focus on the moments and be optimistic about stuff. You see, I have all the resources I need to get real healthy, improve things, work out every day. I have all the people. We're trying all kinds of real cool stuff at the clinic, and it's going to be fully operational here in just a little bit. And then we'll be off to the races. Now, yes, it will take a few years to get everything done, but once it is, it's there. We're in the game. We're fighting. We're doing really interesting things in healthcare. I'm pulling dozens of papers every week and looking at them on anti-aging regenerative medicine. Looked at Sinclair's mouse studies. You don't even have to take it for granted. You can just clone your own mice. Get these litter mates out there and test them. See if you can replicate the research, to verify things, learn your own things. It's so cool to have agency over these concepts. And even if you can't fully eschew them or defeat them, at least can make some progress to them. Cardano, for example, we've written over 150 papers. 150. There will be a day when that number's 200. And there will be a day when that number's 300. Every step of the way, we push the state of the art of the industry. Every step of the way, we solve problems big and small. A gift to everybody. That's why maximalism has never made any sense to me at all. Because the longer we're around, the more we build and the more we give. The more we inspire, the more we solve, the more advancements come out. If you're a Bitcoin maximalist, if you ever were curious about how to get smart contracts to come to Bitcoin, you should look to Cardano, because the extended UTXO and Plutus model is the best and frankly the only path that would be able to do that in a secure way. The Ethereum people say you can't use that model to build smart contracts, dApps, and DeFi and make them useful. By solving those problems in Cardano, it's a blueprint and a pedagogy for you to use. That's one of thousands of examples of innovations that have been brought to this industry. And that's what optimism does. You start talking about how can we partner with people? How can we be better? It is hard with social media, and it is hard when the loudest and most obnoxious and toxic amongst communities tend to define it, for better or for worse. And it is hard to partner with people when people in ecosystems don't say, I disagree with you, but they say you're a criminal and you need to be in jail and you're evil. That's tough. And it's been a tough thing for me to reconcile the 8 years I've been in this industry. As I look to 2023, I think to myself, how do we change the way we communicate and the way that we do things so that we can bypass that community and move on and do things a little bit more productively? So we're going to change the way that we do a lot of stuff. Still going to use Twitter, but I will try to use it in slightly different ways in 2023. Still going to do my AMAs, but I'm going to upgrade the entire experience and involve some others as well to help out so we can be more effective and get to more questions and really build a better relationship. Going to definitely try to scale up the social channels as well and get a lot more subscribers so we can reach a larger base of people for all kinds of cool and interesting things. Going to try to be proactive about creating lots of good timely information. And obviously a lot of ecosystem improvements there. And then obviously there's the members-based organization, where we're going to talk a lot about that at ScottFest and at Lausanne. And I think those things are going to help tremendously for Cardano. As for other projects, we're just going to try to talk to them directly and see if we can come up with some basic principles on smart contract standards, consensus standards. Like, for example, we've been doing that with the extended UTXO Alliance and other things. I truly do wish that those who steward, curate, and act as custodians of their ecosystems would do a better job of managing the excesses of their communities. You don't have to tell them what to do, but you could at least plead with them to be human beings and not say and do horrible things. Is what it is. I'm an optimist, so I believe eventually they'll learn the wisdom of that, because if they don't, all it does is it hurts their own projects and it limits their ability to grow, and frankly makes it much more difficult for people to act together. Another thing I've had to learn in 35 years of being here is that people are always going to hate you, because they don't hate you, they hate an idea of you that they've conjured, and you never, ever will be able to convince them otherwise and make them like you. So don't try. You just have to be yourself. And that's hard cognitively, because there's a natural human reaction, a natural human response to try to explain yourself, to try to get the benefit of the doubt, to try to build bridges and get people to get on your side and like you. The reality is that the way life is, if you're a public figure, it's just not going to be possible. No matter what I say or do or accomplish, there will be people, many people in this industry and soon other industries as well, who believe I'm a really terrible person. Those books I mentioned at the beginning of the year, they're turning into movies. So I'm going to have to go and watch an actor play me, but play a fantasy, a person who doesn't exist, and convince millions of people that that's the real Charles Hoskinson, not the person talking before this microphone. It's tough, but it's liberating in a certain way, because once you've divorced yourself from the need for acknowledgement, credit, love, and you've moved on to higher concepts and things, a love of exploration, a love of building, a coalition of the willing, then actually not a lot of things can hurt you anymore. And not a lot of things can really cripple your ego anymore. You just move forward, and every day is a little different. You know, in the end, history will vindicate the things I've done and punish the things that I didn't do so well. But I don't get to write those books, and they're not even close to being written at the moment. So why care so much about why people say and do what they do? Sometimes it's frustrating, because it does actually limit our ability to do business, make partnerships, build relationships. For example, one of the core developers of the Ethereum Foundation finally admitted something we all knew. They refused to look and seriously consider the research of Cardano because I'm the person who created the project, not realizing that they actually badly harmed their own ecosystem. It is what it is. They decided to do that, but directly admitted it over Twitter. And that's sad, because it hurts them. It hurts the ecosystem, hurts the entire state of proof of stake, hurts the research of proof of stake. There was so much more we could have done together rather than apart. So if that continues to grow on a societal scale, I think we do have a problem, because we will no longer be able to address and deal with the complexity of modern society, and bad things will happen as a result. But on a micro scale, all I can do is just be the bigger man. So as I said, things have to change a little bit, especially on Twitter, and I'm working on it. More meditation, more rumination, more cerebral things, a little bit better time management, especially on the knowledge management systems, you know, things like Obsidian and so forth. And I hope that we get there. All the projects I set up, the vast majority of them are still doing some pretty impressive things. Hoskinson Center for Formal Math, still doing formal math. Lean for Mathematicians is almost out. and they're chipping away at things, and they'll be around forever. The ranch is still going strong. The bison are running around, haven't killed me yet, but they keep trying. Restaurant is under construction. Good old Nessie's. We're getting all the blueprints done right now, and we have a pretty good idea of what to decorate it. Got the dinosaur, the plesiosaur. Going to Scotland here. Going to go visit Loch Ness. Take a lot of pictures. Buy a lot of those little stuffed Nessies. So we can have a great gift shop. So it's fun that all those things are underway. And there's a lot more to do. Next year is probably going to be a busier year than this year. But I truly do hope it's a less stressful one. And that's a choice I have to make, and I'm making it here. So we'll find ways to really be in the moment and let that go. I suppose in closing, the best part about being me is that I still have a lot of time as a person to grow and to meet new people and do new things. It's been really cool meeting my heroes and spending time with them. It was really cool spending some time with Lex Friedman. It was really cool hiring people whose papers I read in my early 20s and were inspired by, like Phil Wadler and others like that. And it's been really cool to do all the things that I always wanted to do. Create a programming language, the Plutus language, the Marlowe language, lead a company, hire people, be an entrepreneur, design degree programs. We did it with CMU for product management. There's so many things. There's so much diversity there. And I'm not unique in that. I think each and every person listening in your own way, in your own circumstances, can live your best life. You only get one. I don't know what happens afterwards, but there's not enough information to bet on it. So you might as well maximize what you have. And it's a choice when you wake up every single day to ask yourself, is it going to be a good day or a bad day? There's been a lot of bad days this year, and what it's left on me is this sense that I need to change things a bit. And so today I woke up and said, it's going to be a good day, a nice day. And I hope you do the same. I had a lot of fun, even with the bad days, with all of you. It was great going to Consensus. It was great going to Rare Bloom. It was great going to CNFT Con. And it's going to be phenomenal going to Scotland and going to Lausanne. And it's going to be phenomenal for all the things that we do together and apart in 2023. And it's going to be so much fun seeing a lot of the cool concepts and ideas that we've been talking about for almost 10 years now finally turn on and be useful to all of you. There's a very long road ahead. And if I'm successful with the whole anti-aging and regenerative medicine thing, hopefully even a longer road than I expect. But in any event, regardless of the distance, it's no less meaningful. So thank you all for your birthday wishes. Thank you all for spending some of my birthday with me. And thank you all for being part of my extended family. You've given me a lot of hope, and you really have made my life that much better. It's a mixed bag. There's a lot of good, some bad, but all things considered, I wouldn't change it for anything. Cheers, everyone.